I really appreciate how in yoga we get to challenge our strength, and not just necessarily our physical strength, but also this capacity to linger in postures that are maybe a little bit uncomfortable and a little edgy and a little bit challenging. Because I find that that also helps us sort of build a certain capacity and resiliency when it comes to stumbling into challenging and uncomfortable situations in life. But at the same time, there's sort of the other side of that coin, which is how to be really gentle and really caring and really kind with ourselves. And I think about, restorative yoga or really slow and gentle movement practices where our intention is really not at all to challenge our edges, but to kind of experience ourselves along this line of gentleness and kindness. And perhaps in some ways I've learned more from that exploration, because my personality, especially as a younger person, I was challenging myself everywhere in life all of the time. And it was something that I enjoyed, that was really exhilarating and exciting, but at the same time also became this sort of automatic way of being. Like I could not do that. That was just the way I showed up all of the time, which of course is not sustainable at all. So being able to meet ourselves in this really gentle way, I think there's a lot there to explore and discover for many of us. And so I thought I'll invite us into a short practice today that's really more about cultivating this more gentle way of being with our body and with ourselves. We'll be on the floor the whole time. If you have a yoga bolster, have it nearby. It can become helpful here today. I actually brought all my bolsters to the studio, so I'm without a cushion today, but instead I can use a couple of folded blankets. And I'm just going to have those over to the side of my mat. So I've got this blanket stack or a bolster over to my left side. And I'm also adding a blanket under my neck and head so that as I come down, I've got a little support there. And so this is really curious when we kind of explore the use of props. Like right there, to me, that is always such a kind thing to do for our body, to recognize when there is discomfort or sometimes even pain, right? Our bodies are really asking for a change or additional support. And so have all of these props around you so you can really explore through that today as well. Yeah, so we'll start out just resting for a moment. So let your arms and hands be wherever is most comfortable for you. I'm keeping my knees bent, letting the knees fall together. But by all means, if you prefer to straighten your legs, go ahead and do that. And you might even start out with a kind of like a brief reflection on, have you had opportunities to extend a little extra kindness to yourself recently? And sometimes it can be something as simple as, choosing to go to bed a half an hour early, or letting yourself sleep in a little more when you noticed you needed more rest. Right? Or has there been a little more of the opposite, where you've been demanding a lot from yourself lately? Pushing hard even though your body might have given you some messages, some signs that it was important to slow down and rest. Yeah, so just this way of just taking a moment to notice at this point in your life, right now, what's your relationship there with being gentle, being kind, paying attention to your body and yourself? Right? Or maybe pressing on a little too much. And if so, really notice how that feels to you. If you've been overriding or ignoring your body's need to slow down, like, what does that feel like to you to keep pushing, keep pressing on? Yeah, take just another breath, just taking note of where you are right now. Great. And see if you can take your arms out to your sides so that your palms turn down. Now, my arms are about shoulder height or in line with my shoulders, but you could certainly bring your arms a little closer to the body. And then bring your left leg long onto the mat and draw your right knee in towards the chest. So without the support of the hands, keep it easy. Just lift the knee up and in towards you. And then see if you can start out here by taking a slow breath in. And as you exhale, take the right knee across the midline of the body over to the left side. And then breathe in as you come back to center. Breathe out as you take your knee across, lifting the right hip off the ground. And breathe in as you return onto your back. Now we're going to keep on repeating this movement for a little while. With the palms turned down, I encourage you to keep your arms pressing down, and if possible, for now, even keeping the right shoulder on the ground. And to slow down your breath so that we are engaging this movement almost like in slow motion now. Right? This isn't about trying to fit in as many of these repetitions as possible, but the invitation to slow down. So it's not about getting there, but it's about becoming a little bit more present with each sensation, each little thing that's happening here right now. But also being very, very gentle with it, meaning no need to try and press that knee down, just wherever your body naturally stops, notice that. And then come right onto your back again. Yeah, try that a couple more times. Notice your breathing just a little more. And then eventually we are going to take the leg across and resting it on our bolster. If at this point the shoulder lifts up a little or you're flipping your palms open, maybe arranging the arms a little bit, feel free to do that. There might even be an additional prop under your right arm. And then begin to notice your breath here now. And make sure that the sensations that you've created here in this pose with the variation and the props that you've chosen. Continue to be quite gentle and easy and comfortable. And we'll take just another 5 slow breaths here. Yeah. Maybe make the next breath a little bit bigger. Let it out. Yeah. And slowly come onto your back, and with both feet on the ground, we'll take a moment to center the hips and kind of rearrange ourselves here on our back. Take another breath in and out. And if you've been using these props, to just go ahead and maneuver them over to the other side. And then let your arms come out to your sides. Bring your right leg long onto the ground. And lift your left knee in and towards your belly or chest. Take a slow breath in. And then go ahead and exhale. Take your knee across any amount. Breathe in as you come onto your back. And slowly breathe out as you take the leg across. Yeah, and then begin to explore and just see if you can get curious about, sometimes what might show up is we're starting to charge ahead, right? We're speeding up the movement, or we're moving along while kind of not paying attention to our breathing. And so, those can be those real automatic ways of being. It's really normal, like we all have those things. But then to be a little bit more discerning around, the theme of today's practice, like being a little lighter, being a little kinder, a little gentler with yourself. And maybe that means slowing down. Maybe that means keeping the movement even smaller. Yeah, and what's so curious about this is that it's not always easy, right? Like it might feel uncomfortable to not max this out and push yourself. Like it might feel a little unusual not to do that. So try this a couple more times. Just keep on exploring, like keep on noticing how this lands to slow down. And then eventually, take your knee and leg across, but find a way to prop up your body, right? So I've got the support under my leg here. I enjoy flipping my palms open, but maybe I slide my arms down a little closer to the body so it feels a bit easier in the shoulder. I might even change what's happening in my neck and head, maybe rolling my head to one side or the other. Yeah, so notice if your body is still asking for any change or just the need for more support, another layer of prop somewhere. And then when you're ready, pause. You may close your eyes. And just take everything in a little bit more. See what it's like to come into a pose where maybe only doing 50% of what you could do. Creating comfort and support over challenging edges, pushing your limits. Yeah, take just a few more breaths here. Yeah, make the next breath a little bigger. And exhale out. Oh, lift your arm, roll to your side. Yeah, I'm just coming onto your right side. Take a couple of breaths here to check in. Notice yourself in this moment right now. Great. And slowly walk yourself up to sit. So press into the hands, walk your hands back, and come to a tabletop position. You are, of course, welcome to add some padding here. So the knees are quite bony, so having support here, again, can just be a really kind thing to offer your body. And then have hands under your shoulders and see if you can come into just a little bit of this just real familiar cat and cow movement. Right? And especially the movements that are familiar, it's so common for us to go back into this sort of autopilot mode, right? And so the invitation here is to see what it's like to be really, really aware of sensations in your body as you engage this movement. And finding a way with it that feels a little lighter, a little kinder, a little gentler. And that might mean different things for different people, right? Maybe it's the slowing down the pace. Maybe it's the way your breath plays along. Yeah, try that just one more time. Take a slow breath in. And a slow breath out. Good. Coming back to a neutral spine, we'll reach the hands out about another foot. See about bending your elbows down to the mat. The hands can be wider, so feel free to pull your elbows out towards the edges of the mat and then let your forehead come down onto the ground. So your hips are up high, hips are approximately above your knees. Take your time to land. Take your time to explore these really small movements, shifting around a little. Kind of like this way of nestling into this shape and almost like a bit of a searching, like how can I search for the kind of easiest, most effortless, the kind of most gentle place.
we'll just linger here for a few breaths. So come into that. If that means, coming into a child's pose instead, or you just feel like, wow, there's really nothing gentle about this in my body, make those changes, right? Really notice that for yourself when your body says, this is just not going to happen. We'll take just another 3 slow breaths here. Yeah. And then even in this transition, kind of slowly dragging your elbows back and keep on going with that so that eventually the weight pulls all the way back, the hips settle towards the heels, the weight is coming off your arms and shoulders, landing in your child's pose. Notice what's here right now. And take just one more breath in. And out. Yeah. And then come on up and make your way back onto your back. So into that reclining position one more time. And at this point, if you'd like to bring some support under your knees, it could be a bolster, it could be some kind of blanket roll or cushion. Yeah, and then go ahead and come onto your back. Resting the arms on the ground right by your sides. Yeah, now this time as you're settling in, see if you can bring your awareness to your feet and your ankles. And begin to move your feet and ankles in a circle. So beginning to engage this kind of circular motion here. And once again, see about engaging this movement with a lot of intention, right? So that again, we come out of this autopilot way of moving where we're moving while thinking about our dinner plans, but like really being there with it. And then find this gentle and light quality. Right? So I notice for myself, like right now, that really means that I'm not going for the full range of motion. Like I'm maybe doing just about 70%. The circles could be much bigger. But just holding back a little allows me to find a bit more ease and gentleness there. Yeah. Then go ahead and let that settle. Find stillness in your feet. Take another breath by just noticing sensations in the ankles. Yeah, and then see if you can bend your elbows, even kind of lifting your hands slightly off the ground. And then try the same thing with your wrists, where you're starting to create a circle in your wrists. Like you might even
Just out of curiosity, kind of even check in and see what is the lightest, the absolutely lightest, most gentle expression of this movement. Yeah. And then go ahead and let your arms and hands rest. Take a breath just to notice stillness in the hands now. The sensations of stillness. And then notice your neck and finally begin to find a bit of movement in your neck. So you're turning the head a little over to one side and over to the other side. Real easy. Yeah. And then come back to center. And take a moment, notice your neck now. And finally, notice your breathing. And see what it's like to either recognize or maybe even cultivate this experience of ease in your own breathing. Right, and just notice maybe your breath is already really soft, really gentle. Maybe you find yourself making some changes there to your breath. And take a few more moments just following your breath. Noticing ease in your breathing now. And then begin to notice a little more how you feel within yourself right now. Sort of like your inner state, like having been so intentional, creating these really gentle and kind movements in your body. How do you feel right now? How did that perhaps evoke a certain response or shifted you into a different way of being? Anything you're discovering about yourself around this? And whatever's here, just to sort of take it in, like you're just gently receiving any discoveries. Yeah, take another breath with it all. the knees bend. Come onto either side and make your way back up to sit. Yeah. All right. I hope there was some value in there for you, just exploring movement and postures in this intentionally light and easy way. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.